We're used to it, Cody. We're used to it.
Yeah, I know. It's the burden my loved ones must bear, you know? I'm sorry. I try to be better, but I fail myself. I let myself down. Okay, yeah. I hear Jake and Anthony. I need to hear Jessica now.
Hi.
Hey, hi, Jessica. Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, Cody.
Oh, I'm excited for this one. I'm very excited. You introduced me to my first Doom Patrol books. I've never read any before.
Ah, yay!
Ooh, I've never read Doom Patrol either, actually.
Wow, Rachel Pollack, first Doom Patrol writer you've ever read. That's exciting.
Yeah, it was great. I didn't get like super fun. I didn't finish the run. I think I read the first 4 issues.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it was great. Love it. What?
I was like, Cody.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't finish it either.
I know.
I told Anthony before I got on, I got to number 5, not for lack of liking. Usually when I don't finish a comic, Jessica, it's because I'm not feeling it. This one I am feeling, so I'm excited to finish it.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I finished it because, I actually like to read fucking comics, guys.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, so yeah, have you guys already introed? How late was I?
No, we didn't intro. Yeah, we were waiting for you.
Nice. Cool. Well, does anyone want to lead us in?
I'll do it. I'll do it this time. Let's do it.
Let's see what Anthony can do.
Okay. Well, welcome back to Comics and Chronic. This is another Sunday Smoke Sesh.
Sunday Smoke Sesh. Today
we have Jessica Crets, who I think is an original commie. You were like one of the first to follow us back when we first started like a year ago. Bad Post LLC. That's your Twitter handle, right?
That's right. Yeah, my friend Abraham. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Reisman. Was on your show, and
that's how you guys. Of us. Yep. Nice.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay,
I didn't know that. Yeah. Shout out to Abraham. He was
Abraham, our very first
guest.
Yeah,
first guest.
He's great.
Awesome.
Yeah, and then you've been. I just love your Twitter personality. You're a great follow on Twitter. Anthony said it earlier, but everybody should follow Jessica.
Yes.
She's a treat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that.
No problem at all. But so any reason you wanted us to talk about Doom Patrol? Is this like, how much of the series is that like your favorite run?
I might prefer the Morrison run, but to me, the Morrison and the Pollack run they go right into each other. They're both great. The reason I wanted to talk about it was just we're finally getting a re-release of this run for the first time. I don't think it's ever been reissued since it came out in issues originally in the early 90s.
Wow.
And so it's a groundbreaking comic, especially as far as like trans representation in comics go. And so it's something I wanted to bring to people's attention, I guess.
Nice.
No, that's awesome. Is it the first that I like? I mean, I'm not familiar. The run that we read, it came out what, early 90s?
Early 90s, yeah. Yeah, right after the Grant Morrison run had ended.
Yeah.
Is it the first depiction of a trans character in a major publication?
No. So there have been trans characters. I believe Marvel had one in like Marvel Comics Presents issue that featured Typhoid Mary. That may have come out just before. And then obviously, there's a couple trans characters in Sandman.
Yeah.
And there were some trans adjacent characters like Legion of Superheroes. This is the first one where like a trans character feels like they're like really fully explored, though, I would say.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.
I loved Kate Godwin. I mean, it did feel like Kate Godwin was a character that I want to see her story continue, and I'm surprised it didn't continue.
Yeah, the way her story ends, the way they write her off after the Rachel Pollack run ends is pretty frustrating. I wish it had continued too, because Kate is a great character, great trans character, great superhero.
Yeah.
Wait, how did they write her off? I didn't even know that.
They did, I think it was in the early 2000s, they had done a new series, and Kate, and this is a spoiler, but Kate and Cliff are kind of together in the series. Cliff Robot Man. And
Cliff Steele.
Something happens at some point when they do the reboot series in the early 2000s that causes her to get blown up.
What?
And that's the last you see of her. She's just
crazy.
like wiped off the face of the earth. And, she gets, I think, like 2 or 3 lines before that happens. And then, bleh.
Oh man,
That's.
I wonder if they would put her in the Doom Patrol show.
I don't know why she's not in the show. I don't know why. I know that I don't believe she's been brought back in the Gerard Way comics.
No, she hasn't.
I'm not caught up with them yet, but I know he likes her. I think I remember reading an interview. I don't know why they haven't brought the character back. She's really great.
Yeah.
And
Coagula. I liked her powers.
Yeah, it was a unique power. I mean, that's one of the things, and I don't know how you guys want to talk about this, but that's one of the things I like about it is, unlike the rest of the Doom Patrol, her powers aren't weird. They're not strange powers. What makes her weird is that she's trans. That's what makes her an outsider. Because the rest of them, it's their powers that make them have to kind of be apart from society.
Yeah.
But for her, it's just her.
Yeah,
that's crazy. That honestly, that's so. I love that was happening in the 90s too. I don't know. It's just the book was just. I love the art. It's honestly been like I haven't reread any comics from that era in a while. And so for me, my first Doom Patrol and it being that art style and like comic, like just so very late 80s, early 90s. It was just, I don't know. It like brought back a lot of nostalgia of reading comics when I was a kid and stuff like that.
I love that era of comics. It's probably like that 80s to early 90s. I'm absolutely nuts about. So yeah, like Scott Eden's art in those first few issues are great. So yeah, I really like that.
I like the covers too. I like how it's like real people and the way
are cool.
Yeah, the cover to I really like the cover to Doom Patrol number 70. That's the one where Kate Godwin's introduced. The one with what's the villain's name?
Codpiece.
Codpiece.
Yes, that's a good one.
Yeah, dude, that was such a funny character. Honestly,
right?
This was such a like comical, like just little things I noticed when I was reading it today. Such like one of those. It's very funny, but like not in a. It's just like really well written, is what I'm trying to say. Like I loved the part when the bandaged folks. What were their names again?
The bandaged people.
Yeah.
I think their names.
The couple?
Yeah. George and Marion. That's their names.
Yeah. I loved when they were wrapping the kid up that was like bothering them. And the parent was like, I wish I could do that. You know what I mean?
And I don't know if it's in that issue, but there's like also little like in jokes for like trans people, like the spirits who live in the house that they all live in. It's called the SRS, which for anyone who doesn't know, it stands for sex reassignment surgery. That's what we used to call it back then.
I didn't know that.
So, as an in joke, she named those spirits SRS.
Okay.
There's like a reaction from Kate when she sees them for the first time and hears their name.
See, because when I watched the Doom Patrol show, like I've watched the first few seasons, and I think in the third season they have them, but they call them the Sex Men.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
See, I've only seen the first few episodes of the show, so I can't.
Same. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes.
It felt like the Morrison comics, so that that's a good thing for it. It wasn't anything against it. I just didn't have time.
Yeah. No, I thought the show was really, really good, but it is very much the Morrison team. And it doesn't like this does. I mean, these comics did they did feel like the Morrison comics, but like there was something about them that I liked more. Like I love Morrison, but like this Doom Patrol, like I really loved Cliff's story in this too. Like Cliff's whole like dealing with his new body or finding out like the story with the clones. I don't know if you guys got up to the story with the clones, but that was cool.
Yeah. So much of the story of Cliff's story and all the stories really, but Cliff's stories and Kate's story, all these characters are characters who are really uncomfortable with their bodies. And what makes Kate different is she's already gone through this. She's already accepted herself. And so she gets to be there for Cliff, who is now trying to accept himself in his robot body, which he hates. He wants to be a man. He wants, the book even plays with that. Like, what is a man? Is he still a man if he's in that? So
yeah, I love that because Cliff, like that kind of shut Cliff up. Like he came to that realization right there. And
because he was being transphobic to her,
exactly.
I think he basically calls her a man, and she's like, well, then, what are you?
Yes, that's what starts that whole conversation. Yeah, exactly.
That's true. She is the most confident out of anyone in the house.
Yeah, because she's had to live alone all these years, as an outsider. They've kind of been sequestered off to themselves as these outsider superheroes, and they haven't really progressed within accepting themselves. And Kate's arrival kind of, turns the focus into that for really all the characters, but especially Cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. I really enjoyed the monkey face girl and the creepy doll.
Oh, Dorothy.
Yeah. Dorothy.
Yeah. And she's she's one of the holdovers from the Morrison run.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think she is the only holdover besides obviously Cliff and
Niles.
But they're, since the beginning of the run. But yeah, I believe she's the only holdover from the Morrison run. And
she actually gets to do stuff in this comic. I feel like in the Morrison run, she's always like stuck in the house right?
Yeah, she's like one of the primary, I'd say the book is as much focused. Really, everyone gets their own kind of arc within this. But, I'd say after Kate and Cliff, she's the next probably most important character on that run. And her story informs a lot of it. And, also informs the ideas of, people uncomfortable with their bodies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked that. Well, I mean, there is obviously like 90s. It felt like to deal with a lot of emotion. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like it was just it was nice because like with the first issue and like especially the gags and stuff and Codpiece and everything, I was like, oh, this is going to be kind of like. At first, I was like, this is going to be kind of like an action comedy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it loses that, but it really got it was like really touching in on things that like on a deeper level that I wouldn't, for some reason, I mean, I was obviously too young to understand, but like it felt like deeper than a lot of 90s mainstream comics.
Yeah, I mean, this was closer along the lines of I guess this did become a Vertigo book at some point.
Wasn't this run in particular like the first run on Vertigo?
I believe, yeah, it was she, I think, maybe even at the start of her run, but at some point early in her run, the book switches from DC to Vertigo.
Yeah.
And I mean, they let her explore some deep spiritual themes, and the book becomes a lot more focused on magic and kind of these themes of, like I said, discomfort with, your body and your place in the world. And
so before we started recording, you had surprised me because you said Rachel Pollack is like a huge tarot person. Like she's written tons of books about it.
She's considered like one of the tarot experts. I know whenever, I think that's where a lot of her work has been. I mean, she's a pretty major science fiction author and won some big awards in the 80s and 90s. But yeah, I know in the tarot world, she's supposed to be pretty big, I believe.
That's crazy.
And that informs a lot of her work, but especially her Doom Patrol, that kind of mysticism.
Yeah, for sure.
Any of you ever done tarot? Had your tarot cards read?
I've had my tarot cards read. I've done a little magic too.
Whoa, nice.
I wouldn't call myself much. I'm not really a mystical person, but I obviously, not obviously. Maybe you don't know, but I'm trans. I'm talking about a trans comic.
Yes.
I did do a magic spell about 12 years ago to turn myself into a girl. It took about 7 years, but it came around.
Nice.
Nice.
Anthony or Cody, have you guys had your tarot cards read?
Yeah, I definitely have. I don't necessarily everyone that's read tarot cards with me, I basically am just like, they tell me what this means. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's what this sound like and kind of like connect the dots myself. But I feel like that's like a big part of it is supposed to be like looking inside and being like finding the answers for yourself, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of how I've always approached it whenever I've had mine read.
I think Cody also has a lot of chaos magic. He can't just pin him down. Yeah. It's like opening the Darkhold when you have to read his tarot cards.
Dark Magician Cody over here.
I think that's why Cody was late. He was opening the Darkhold before he.
I've had my tarot cards read a few times. One of my aunts is really into it, and I'm like,
"Oh, that's awesome!"
Yeah, she's super into it, and so she's done it. I've had it read by other people, and I'm always open to like. I don't know what the word is. I don't want to say the mystic arts, but like ish like that. But then like I've gone to psychics and I want them to be real. But this one lady was like, "Oh, you're really angry because your parents are divorced." And I was like, "No, that's not even true." I like find myself being really skeptical of people who can say they're psychics or that. But yeah.
I feel like the people who I've met that are just like, this is something I'm kind of interested in and don't do it for money. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like,
that's when it gets murky. Like my sister, my mom, my aunts and uncles, they love to like get mediums to come over and
really?
Oh my God. One time
your mom loves it?
Hell yeah. They're all into that.
I'm surprised that old school Italians are into the mystic
they're especially
arts.
into it. It like crosses over, right? So check this out. So they hired this woman who I looked up her name and immediately she's connected to her brother, who's like this famous like psychic grifter who would go on like talk shows and he does all these cold readings, right? And he cold read my entire family and they recorded it, like not to like try to trick, like to try to see if he was tricking them, but just to like record it. But I'm like, let me listen to that shit because I don't believe for a second they were communicating to anybody, like any dead people. No way in hell. And oh man, she was just like grifting them the entire time. And I think each of them paid like probably $50 to $100. And they're like,
gosh.
I was just like, well, I was like, before it happened, I'm like, Mom, just don't. I'm telling you, it's not real. She's like, oh, we're just having fun. I'm like, but you're spending so much money for like bullshit. I'm just like, whatever. But tarot cards are a different thing. Like if a friend does it, hell yeah, like read. But I'm always going to get like a negative outcome. It's always just like, you're fucked. You're going to die next week. Like,
is that what yours is, Anthony?
Anytime someone has done it, it's like, ooh, I don't know, something in the future. Watch out. I'm just like,
Anthony has dark energy around.
Yeah. I was going to watch out.
Is that why
in the least?
Is that why you're like? Is that why you're? I'd say you're the most nervous, Anthony. Is you're always looking over your shoulder.
I'm just an anxious person. Come on. Like.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's always worried fate's coming for him.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But I don't know. What were we? Oh, back to the Doom Patrol.
Doom Patrol, the thing I'm here for.
Yeah, exactly. So what is your favorite issue of this run? Like if there was one moment that, or like issue that stuck out for you, is there any that like were your, go-tos?
I mean, I love the Codpiece issue. It's so funny. It's also a great, there's two issues I want to talk about. One of which you guys haven't read, but I'll start with the Codpiece one since you have.
Yeah.
There is the Codpiece issue, which cracks me up to no end. Like that character, that design, that like stubby but phallic, like just.
And his backstory too is hilarious.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I wasn't, you know what I mean? That like, what a early time to be ahead of its time to be tackling toxic masculinity. You know what I mean?
Right?
He was like the ultimate incel.
Yeah. He kind of like exists as that 20 years before we were talking about, or 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Like every interaction with a woman is just because he has a small penis and the prostitutes, and he like dedicates his life to building this like exoskeleton suit.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's great because I kind of think that's how she got. that character is so outrageous. I kind of think that's how she's able to get Kate Godwin in. You're so focused on the guy with the like metal dick that you're not like thinking as much. I mean, the way that she introduces Kate is so subtle. I love
super subtle.
Yeah.
You know, there's talk about how she tries to join the Justice League, but they're not interested, not because of her powers, but maybe more because of who she is. And then you just have that close up on that really silly button that says "put a transsexual lesbian on the Supreme Court."
Yeah.
And that's how that's how Pollack tells us this character is trans, and it's just this really neat. And there's something interesting about she's the one who takes down Codpiece, and there is something interesting about someone who is like actually trying to become who they are, make themselves who they need to be, versus someone who's just taking it out on everyone else because they're unhappy with their own body. And I was just gonna say, there's a lot of interesting thematic stuff happening in that issue, besides the fact that it's really funny.
Oh, it's so funny.
It's honestly pretty much like, it was very similar to like Batman and his villains. All of his villains are created by trauma, just like Batman was.
Yeah.
It was one path, his villains chose another. Same with like Kate Godwin and Codpiece. They're both uncomfortable with their body, so they decide to make a change, but one doesn't attack the world with their penis.
It's also just so satisfying to see Kate kick his ass. Like, it's just like, yes, you took him down. You're my I'm
also, the art, like when she does dissolve his like Codpiece armor, it's like it gets like all bubbly and red looking, and almost like for a second I was like, did she just give him herpes for a second? Because if you go back and read it, it's super like, I was like, oh my god, that's terrible.
It's almost like a body horror moment.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's a fantastic issue, and just funny while also, and that's kind of what she's good at. She has a sense of humor and kind of keeps things moving light while having a fair bit to dig into. There is a later issue that she does. You guys wouldn't have read this, but I think this is probably my next favorite one. I wish I could remember the number. It's probably about maybe 14 issues deeper into the run or so. But basically, there's this scene in it where they have this kind of mystic woman who is helping them deal with a magic issue that's happening to what's the monkey face girl's name? Dorothy. That's so mean of me.
Well, I mean, that's literally how they describe her in the comics.
She's a monkey face girl, but she's so sweet.
Yeah. And when you see her getting bullied, it's so sad. It's just like, no, come on, Cliff, somebody or let the candle maker out or something. Do something.
Yeah. But there's an issue later on where there is a mystical issue, and it involves, if I remember, it involves periods and things, and involves Dorothy. And so all the women on the team kind of have to get together to deal with this. And so Kate is brought along, and Kate is like, hey, am I, you guys know, basically she's like, I'm trans, right? Like, is it okay that I'm even here? And the mystic who's helping them says, yes, Marion told me about herself as well. I honor your presence here, Kate. And especially your history. You bring us an ancient power, one that will help Dorothy find hers. I mean, there's a very validating.
Yeah.
There's something very powerful, especially as a trans person reading that, who can sometimes feel, out of place. There's something about that that's really moving. And that's probably the other one that's always stuck out to me. So. Maybe I should have ended on the funny one, but
no, that's a great moment. And honestly, it sounds like the complete opposite moment of what happens in the Sandman. Like, is it meant to be a response to that?
I do not believe it is meant to be a response, because I believe she's responding to some things that are actually happening, that were kind of happening in the community, and with trans women, and some of the arguments with like feminists, radical feminists that had been happening at the time. Mm-hmm. But it does often feel like that, though, doesn't it? Because it's, she's brought in, whereas I cannot remember the trans character from a game. Wanda, thank you. Where Wanda is more, is excluded.
Yeah, she's like straight up rejected. She's not allowed to travel to what is it, Cuckoo Land?
The Cuckoo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know they're friends, but yeah, my understanding is it was not. Yeah, I don't believe it is, but it does kind of feel like it. And I have recommended it to people who, my trans friends who read that aren't crazy about that story. So,
got it.
Yeah, that's I don't know. It's just so cool, and it's crazy. Like I said, it's crazy how far ahead of her time she was writing this book. All of these little things that are like little details are things that we're like as a general society really just trying to tackle now.
Yeah, I mean, I think she's still even dealing with issues that we still haven't figured out. Like, she's dealing with the discomfort that Cliff has, with his attraction to Kate, and we still haven't really figured that out. I think in media, and it's dealing it back with that in the early '90s. So
yeah,
no, for sure.
Yeah, and again, it's weird. It's like you would think that DC or they're always claiming to be more inclusive, but this seems like the perfect character to bring back and to highlight those same issues we're facing today. Like why not? Like it seems like so obvious.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised with how they're clearly bringing in queer characters, but for whatever reason, they have this great one that has a great story. Maybe they will. Maybe if there's some popularity with this omnibus release that's coming out in a few months.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll see that because, yeah, she's great. I really cannot believe that she hasn't made it in the TV or the show or as far as I know, the comics. So
yeah, it's kind of a bummer. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand like how this like company could like, you know what I mean? This comic, I don't know. Reading it, I don't know how it did like sale wise or like but it was like one of the more interesting. I don't know. It was really interesting and like I said, like kind of just like a lot of little details that like felt almost like when I was reading it, it felt like artistically I was looking at somebody, but it felt like something that would be written right now. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it despite maybe a few dated language things, it feels of right now. It feels more applicable to my life or my trans friends' lives than really. And I like the trans characters that like DC has introduced. I enjoyed Gail Simone with the Eliseo character. And in James Tynion's run on Detective Comics, I liked Victoria October. Although in both those, they're just kind of there to show up and be like, hey, I'm trans and I'm the best friend of like the really cool superhero. Yeah. We're cool. And so, and I enjoyed those characters. I would love to see them show up more. I liked over at Marvel, what's her name? McGowan, or the character who's in Immortal Hulk, the trans character in that.
I didn't read Immortal Hulk. Anthony,
I didn't read Immortal Hulk either.
Did none of you guys read Immortal Hulk?
No, I read Immortal Hulk. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah,
there's a trans character in it, and she's great. You should read. Like, I am the person who does not like modern comics. I usually complain about them. Most of what I read is like from the 60s through 80s, early 90s. Immortal Hulk is great. Best Hulk I've read since Peter David.
I heard it was really good. Was that New 52?
Wait, what? New 52?
No,
New 52. What was the Marvel relaunch? Marvel Now or whatever?
No, it was just like a new series. Like it was just like Immortal Hulk. Like
it's good though.
They just brought him back and like changed it. Yeah, it's great.
Nice. Got a horror comic feel to it. Really creepy at times.
I only know of it from the Alex Ross covers that he did for Immortal Hulk, which looks
those are
sick.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And as far as I'm still sick of trans side characters, but as far as trans side characters go, the character in that is good. And one thing I like about her is her transness is very much part of like her character, her origin, why she's in the situation she's in it. Yeah, I highly recommend that book.
Is it an original Marvel character or was it like an old Marvel character who they made trans?
No, brand new character. Nice. She's a scientist who's working for the people who are trying to take down the Hulk.
Okay.
And eventually becomes an ally of the Hulk.
Yeah.
So
Nice. That's sick.
that run is great, but yeah, and the character's good too. And yeah, I mean, again, the rare modern comic run that I would actually tell somebody to go out and read like right now.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that too. Like the Immortal Hulk is just so different. Like it's just the way they dive into every one of Hulk's personalities is so interesting. Like you just kind of get like the psychological deep dive for each one and like why he operates in the Hulk psyche. It's so cool.
So like the different types of Hulks, as in like Gray Hulk and Gangster Hulk,
All of them, yeah.
Maestro. Oh, that's
Even
cool.
ones you won't remember or think of, they pop up.
Mr. Fix-It, yeah.
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
Fix
Mr.
It.
Fix-It. Jessica, have you ever read Hulk Ground Zero?
No, what is that?
That's a
Who wrote that?
it's a Todd McFarlane run.
No, I have not read Todd McFarlane Hulk. Is it good?
Yeah, it's from the 90s. It's pretty sweet. But he's Gray Hulk and he's very articulate. He's not like articulate as in like a genius. He just talks.
Wait, is that the Peter David stuff where Peter David wrote it?
Yeah, I think he did. I think he did.
That. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that whole run is really good.
Yeah, that's a great Hulk run.
Love those Todd McFarlane issues. And there's some really good artists. I'm trying to, I think maybe Romita is in some of that. They actually just like a week or two ago, we're so off topic. I'm sorry. I'm really stoned.
No, this is what we do here.
Oh, yeah, you guys, this is the weed one.
We love just getting off topic is,
it's what we do.
I don't think your listeners, well, I don't think we've mentioned it. Your listeners probably do not know. I am literally hotboxing in my car, in my garage. While I talk about this. Speaking of while I'm talking about, what was I talking about?
We had just mentioned a Hulk Ground Zero, and then you were about to talk. I don't know what you're about to talk about.
Something just came out.
The final omnibus of his first, big first run just came out. That's a great run. The whole thing, beginning to end. But yeah, those Todd McFarlane issues are fantastic.
Yeah.
I never read Peter David Hulk. Every time I do look for like that first omnibus, it's always like nowhere to be found. So I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not jumping into this.
Yeah. I mean, you could always read it online on like the Marvel thing, but I couldn't read it on there. There's so many, it's like over 100 issues.
That's what I mean. Yeah, there's so much. Yeah.
But it's like fantastic. Like it's so good. Anyone who likes Hulk has probably read it. But if you don't like Hulk, you should read it. You'll like it.
Oh, do you know? Like, I never know how to say it, and I think we talked about this in our Planet Hulk episode. When it's the future Hulk, is it Maestro or Maestro? Like, what it had?
Maestro.
Maestro. Okay, that makes sense.
Because that's what you would call like the
conductor of an orchestra, the Maestro.
Okay, that makes sense.
I've watched movies where people say the word Maestro. This is how I know.
I don't know. I never had that question about the pronunciation of his name. I don't know why, Anthony, that was so hard for you.
That was super important.
Is it Maestro or is it Miastro? Right?
All right, I'm going.
No, this is great. Now I'm the third member of the show. This is fantastic.
We did it, finally.
If you're tuning in now to Comics and Chronic, we have a new host, Jessica Crets, everyone. Please welcome her.
Thank you. This is literally the only reason I've been promoting the show for years to all my followers, so one day I could take it.
The long con.
I've been planning on running this show since the beginning.
Nice. Well, good. Finally, we'll have some cool people on the show. Am I right?
Is Anthony actually gone?
No. I'm right here.
Oh, I mean, hey, what's up, Anthony?
What did I miss?
Nothing. I'm now Empress of the show. Is that what you call
showrunner?
Show Empress.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Take over. Awesome.
Is that what Anthony calls himself when you guys are messaging? Is he the emperor of the show?
Empress. He sticks with Empress. That was not my choice.
It was autocorrect. I went with it. Whatever. Empress. Hey, if you run Comics and Chronic, you're the Empress. That's it.
That's awesome.
Oh, my face hurts from smiling. That was So, are there any? You said you love the Grant Morrison run. Was that one of Grant Morrison's early runs, wasn't it? Was that one early in Grant Morrison's career?
Early in Grant Morrison's DC career. Grant Morrison had probably been around 10-ish years already, especially like in the British scene. Doing really great comics like Zenith, if you've ever read that. Like,
I've never read Zenith actually.
Have you ever read Marvel Man?
I'm actually a DC guy. If I have to choose between the two,
I'm DC, but Miracle Man, you know the Alan Moore comic, Marvel Man, Miracle Man. Morrison's Zenith is kind of like that, but if the main character was like a punk rock guy.
Nice.
So
sounds like Grant Morrison.
Yeah. But yeah, this was, I guess the first run that Morrison did after Animal Man. I don't know if they were concurrent at all.
Okay.
But relatively early, especially in the DC part of the career.
Nice. I like Grant Morrison for the most part. Sometimes his shit is hit or miss, but they're mostly hit.
Morrison's probably my favorite writer.
Nice.
Nice.
Really. What about artist? What would you say one of your favorite artists in comic books is?
Favorite artists? I'm a big Kirby is to me like the beginning and the end.
Nice.
Like his New God stuff is to me what comics should be, at least art wise.
Nice.
I don't know what's happening in them.
Yeah, that's how I feel. We've always said that about Bill Sienkiewicz. Like it feels the same way.
Sienkiewicz is one I like too. Anyone who is both distinct but has a really good, I think pacing isn't very good in comics, and there is something about the way Kirby knew how to pace. I also just like the faster pace of the Kirby comics, but there's something about like the panel progression and the way that paces it that I've always really liked about Kirby, and I think Sienkiewicz is good about that too. I love anyone who's distinct. If you're distinct, I'm probably going to like you.
Nice.
I like Frank Quitely a lot. Speaking of Morrison, for a long time that was my answer, was Quitely.
Nice. Yeah, he's awesome.
Is that Morrison quietly run that I could just look at the panels. The dialogue and story is fantastic, but if you just showed me the panels, I would still be as compelled,
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good.
I love the way Quitely draws people's faces. Like they're always just like, he can make him look really grotesque in a very like subtle way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, especially on New X-Men, the way like Cassandra Nova.
Yeah.
She's just so creepy.
I've been thinking about rereading New X-Men. I've only read it once all the way through, and I've been thinking about rereading it.
I reread it a couple of years ago. It holds up well, especially like it makes you mad that it took them so long to kind of get back to this now with what Hickman did.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how they're going to get out of that. Like, I don't know how
They shouldn't keep going forward. People like moving forward. That's what people liked about the X-Men.
Yeah. I love Krakoa. Yeah. I think they're going in that's why, like, I was telling you guys, like, there's so many spin-offs to like read and stuff, but it's worth it. Like, if you have the time to like check out all the titles, like there's a good story somewhere in there, but like, there's so many, like, it's like you have, like, it's a lot of people will say, like, I read only X-Men comics, like it's just, there's so much time dedicated to just the X-Men.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like even though it's a part of the greater Marvel universe, it's very much also like its own little corner.
It's kind of what I like about it. It's I think my favorite superhero stuff is the stuff that kind of feels like its own corner.
Yeah.
This is really off topic. Probably my favorite superhero team is the Legion of Superheroes.
Nice.
That Paul Levitz run is maybe my favorite superhero run. I was actually on a podcast recently talking about that as well.
Nice.
But that's another one, even though there wasn't as many spinoffs, that's another one that, like, I love when they kind of just, they're off on their own. They don't really worry about the continuity of the rest of the universe. They're just kind of doing their thing.
That's what's always kind of made it hard for me to like jump into it. I don't know why. Like, I've read tons of DC comics. Like, I know I've seen these characters before, but it almost seems like overwhelming to always jump into like a Legion of Superheroes comic.
Honestly, if you just start with the beginning of the Levitz Giffen run, just
You're good to go.
You'll figure it out. Like
Okay.
that's how comics are supposed to be read. You guys read comics as kids, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you went to the quarter bin, you grabbed out an issue. You didn't know what issue is. Oh, Captain America Annual 7. Why is Flag Smasher gray or whatever he was on the cover of that one? Why has he got a tattoo on him? I didn't know what was going on. I loved it. That's how comics should be read.
Yeah,
That's
great point.
Oh yeah,
Just pick it up.
that's honestly.
Eventually, you'll figure out why Bouncing Boys bounces. I don't know.
I love that. Honestly, that touched. That was some sage advice.
Yeah, I'm the comic sage. People are always saying this about me.
No, but I agree with that, and just in general, especially you're right. We all started reading comics as kids, and none of us gave a shit at 10 years old what the continuity was beforehand.
And
so
now
it's
we do.
And now we do, but we shouldn't. Because it's I just want to read a good story.
Yeah, we should just be happy to see Codpiece blowing things up with his giant dick,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons that issue, I think the first issue I told you guys to read was 70. That's not even the beginning of the run. That's just the issue Kate Godwin character shows up.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so, that's kind of how I think comics are. That's how we got into comics.
Yeah, I like that.
For sure.
I like that too. One thing I wanted to tie back to what you were saying about comics, and you prefer superhero comics when they are in their little corners. I feel like the same could be said about this Doom Patrol run.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Completely in that same genre, kind of X-Men is much less so than these other ones, but X-Men and Legion of Superheroes and all of them are just kind of their own.
Because then the focus is character. The focus isn't tying into so hey, look, there's Superman flying past. What's he up to? But instead, it's funny to call Legion a superhero focus when there's 22 characters. 22 main characters. There's 50 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something about being able to because to me, comics can't be really plot focused. I mean, they are in the micro, in the individual issues, but you can never really move truly forward in comics. So you have to focus on character. And continuity is a good way to distract when you have bad writing that doesn't give you a focus on characters.
That's true. I kind of like that take on it.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
All of my favorite comic books are pretty much the ones that, whether it's DC or Marvel, that do not deal with the overall greater universe and just a specific part. I'm a big Batman fan. He's my favorite. I like Batman when it's just Batman and Gotham. I don't need Batman with the Justice League in outer space doing crazy shit.
I mean, that's one cool thing about Batman is he's so big that he doesn't have to cross over with other people. Sometimes they'll show up in his book as as his buddy. But, really Batman's the one character who gets to not be screwed up too much by crossovers.
Yeah. But I totally and fuck, I'm high. What was I gonna?
Me too. This is great. I love this show. The last one.
Nice. It's actually almost 4:20 my time since I'm in California, you guys.
Nice. You know what time it is.
You know what time it is. Now it's officially 4:20, so smoke up if you got them. I don't have anything. So
you're the only one who doesn't.
I need to live vicariously through you. I know.
Oh, no.
I'm a broke bitch right now, so
I am so high. I also did edible. I took some edibles before this too.
Damn.
I am
double.
I'm always at a baseline of kind of fucked up, but
hell yeah, Jessica knows how to be a guest on Comics and Chronic. Not most people that have come on have not smoked or just don't ever smoke.
The fuck! I literally got my weed card because I was like, one of these days I'm gonna be on Comics and Chronic.
Where are you right now? As far as I'm in California.
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, nice.
We're trying to move. Hopefully that happens to the East Coast, but
nice.
Right now I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Nice. Is weed legal in Kansas City?
Medically. And I got a card. So
nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I have a friend that's been hooking it up from the medical stuff from Pittsburgh. I shouldn't be saying this. Let's edit that
The
out.
medical stuff is wrong.
You didn't mention any names.
True. But anyway, it's been honestly like devastating me. It's the kind of thing that like, I'm like, oh my God, I can't smoke until the end of the day or I'm going to be.
Yeah, you can't handle the real weed, Cody.
Also,
Washed
Cody,
up.
I like the idea that you think the FBI is listening to Comics and Chronic to take down the like criminals and shit. I'm gonna put hashtag FBI on our next Instagram post.
Yeah, dude. But why would they not? If they're gunning, it would make sense that they'd gun for the top. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, now that I am on the show, I am I don't want to toot my horn. Minor Twitter celebrity, 3,700 followers. Bigger than all three combined and the Comics and Chronic account.
It's true.
Yeah, for
That's
sure.
100%.
I hadn't even
Big
noticed.
facts.
I hadn't even noticed. My assistant told me.
Nice.
Damn, you're an
Nice.
assistant. That's how I know
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
the next level.
Dude, yeah, I wish I had an assistant.
Yeah.
Dude, I just wish I got paid to.
Jake believed
Oh, I totally did. I was like, damn, just an
I
assistant.
believed it too.
Please have an
I was like,
assistant.
yeah.
I'm a quote unquote writer.
Yeah.
I was like, Jessica's popping off.
When people ask me, I'm a writer. I don't have an assistant. I sit on
was
my
like, holy
porch and
shit.
get stoned and occasionally write a page.
It's true. You are hotboxing your car. So.
Yeah.
I'm stoned 24/7, baby.
Nice.
Nice. Look.
Hell yeah.
True comedy right here. True comedy.
Yeah,
True
seriously, one of the best. We're gonna we need to Hall of Fame commies and
Yeah.
Yeah.
number one entry, Jessica.
Jessica.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna induct
This is
you
my
into the
dream.
Hall of Fame. God, this is your dream.
Seriously, for people who are listening to this, Jessica is a great Twitter and Twitter follow. Yeah.
Go follow her. She's funny.
I have fun online. I just like to be nice, normal guys. Just
Nice.
Nice and normal.
That's refreshing because people online do not like to A, be nice, and B, be normal.
no.
And like with an emphasis on not being nice. The internet is not a nice place. Well, that was awesome.
Hell yeah.
That's fucking cool. Thank you so much for coming on, Jessica.
Yeah, Jessica. It's been
or is it over?
I don't know.
No, actually, I mean, you guys can keep going, but I should leave soon just because
you got a show to host.
I have a show to host. But before we go, we got to give Doom Patrol the JPZs.
Oh, we got to rate it.
But I can only rate because I only finished. I was in 4 before I gave up today, and so I finished the first 3.
Thanks.
It wasn't that I gave up. I just was working and shit.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, the first 3. So I can only give it on the first 3. But you guys,
He always does this. He's always like, all right, let's rate it. You guys go first.
Yeah. Okay, I'll rate it.
No. Okay, go. I was going to say we should let Jessica go first. We usually let the guest on this.
10 out of 10. What's it rated out of?
Out of 6
Joe Pesci.
6 out of 6 Joe Pesci's.
Out of 6 Joe Pesci's, 6 is the best, right?
The 6
Yes.
Yes.
6.
Nice.
That's a 6.
Okay.
Nice.
Anthony?
I will. Okay. Something we didn't talk about. With Grant Morrison, maybe I'm just an idiot, but with Grant Morrison stories sometimes, and with some of these stories, these Doom Patrol stories, sometimes I was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, what's happening in this part? Like, it seemed like with the mix of the art and the content, with the parts that we talked about, I loved and I was completely there for, but then there were some really mystical, weird stuff happening that I just kind of went past me, I guess.
Went over your head.
Yeah.
Were you not high enough? Or
that might have been it. I was reading it on my lunch break, so I wasn't.
you idiot.
I know. Now I gotta be okay. That's the problem. Okay, but
I'm kidding. I get what you mean. You're wrong, but I get what you mean.
That's awesome.
But so I'm gonna give it a 5.8. I'm giving it a 5.8. Point two is taken away from my brain not being able to process some of it. So,
Anthony, did you not listen to a word Jessica said about continuity? Forget that shit, man. Just enjoy what you've read.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. It just, I'm sorry, it doesn't get the 6. It gets the 5.8, and that's that.
Well, Anthony's dead to me. Go on, take your turn.
He's dead to all of us. So I didn't finish it. I will finish it because I genuinely want to.
Yeah,
We've picked some comics where I don't finish it, and I never will. And I have no qualms about saying that. So what I've read so far, and the fact that this actually draws me in enough to want to finish it, I'm giving it 6 Joe Pesci's.
Nice.
I'm gonna just jump right in and follow up. Like I said, I only completely finished, and I got like a handful of pages through into the 4th. But I, like Jake, am also. It wasn't for that. It was just for lack of me just overextending myself at all times. But I am interested. Like I'm excited that I have it to read because I'm definitely like sold. You know what I mean? So based on the first 3 issues and the whatever, I'm high.
Every time Cody says it, it becomes less and less issues.
The first 2 pages of the first issue that I read.
Oh no, I dropped my lighter. I don't need to smoke anymore. But 6 for sure. Sure.
Nice.
I feel like I feel peer pressure to, amend my answer, but I'll stick with the 5.8.
Stand down. Like what Jake said earlier, there's a darkness around Anthony.
Yeah, I have to get.
It is. It's that dark energy around Anthony.
Yeah, I don't know why it's happening. I must have angered God somehow.
You must have.
You angered me. No. I'm so sorry, Anthony. You were such a sweetheart. You were so nice every time I've talked to you, and I've done nothing but bully you.
No, this is what everyone does to me. This is cool. This is
his cross to bear.
Yeah, this is my cross.
He is such a kind and gentle soul, and I just want to kick him in the teeth.
We're all having fun. I know we're having fun.
Anthony's the best. He's the man.
Yeah, I don't take things personally.
But Anthony's the man. But Jessica's now the Empress.
True. It's very true.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Nice. I think that about does it.
That about does it.
Thank you, Jessica, so much for coming on.
Yeah, that was a blast. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you. This was amazing. I loved this. This was great.
You were better than Tommy Chong. Just know that you were better than Tommy Chong.
Yeah, big facts. Big facts. You were a better guest.
Yeah, we talked to Tommy Chong and he sucked, but you were much better than Tommy Chong.
Yeah. I guess I just handle my weed better.
That's a fact.
Fired.
That's a flashback. Tommy Chong calling you out.
Yeah.
Jessica, do you have anything you'd like to plug? You said you did a podcast a couple weeks ago or something.
Yeah, don't remember what it was. Don't worry about that. I should. I'm going to be very vague, but I should have an article about this coming out. About Doom Patrol.
About this run of Doom Patrol?
Yeah, about Doom Patrol.
Fuck yeah.
Nice. Coming out in the next couple months. Nice. I will definitely let you guys know so you can share it when that happens.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, I would love to.
We will.
Happy to share it and read it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to read it. That's exciting for me.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, it's a nice publication too. I'm excited. So
nice. And if you're listening, go follow her on Twitter. She's very supportive.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are great. I love you guys. I love the show.
Nice. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Crack me up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming on to the Sunday Smoke Sesh.
We hate you. See how? No, just kidding.
Anthony, you did such a bad job.
We were joking earlier, okay? But this is not funny. I will not stand for it. You guys, I thought you ran a tighter ship than this.
We don't. This ship is forever sinking, and we're just bailing out water.
Anthony's just yelling commands.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. It's like, me and Cody are just
I'm
like,
waist deep in
"What?"
water.
Yeah. Well, shit. Thank you so much for coming on to the Sunday.
Yeah,
Smoke
thank you.
Session.
Sincerely.
yeah, Sunday smoke sesh.
Thank you guys. It was great.
Hey, take care, Jessica. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
See you next time.
Hi, you're listening to Comics and Chronic, and I'm Jacob H.
I'm Cody Cannon.
And I'm Anthony Iannaccio.
And you can tune in every Thursday to hear new episodes of Comics and Chronic.
And make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Comics N Chronic. That's comics, the letter N, Chronic.
We'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
Peace.